second day of the competition, and we're also going over our second day here with Brandon. In our second day here with Brandon. We're going to go through tips and tricks for trading size for this competition, since we gave you $1 million to trade with, and maybe you're unaccustomed to trading such size, and what kind of tips and tricks we can give. Maybe go through some of your trades, etc. If you do have a trade that you would like us to cover, paste it in here in the chat, and we'll take a look at it and give you some feedback on it. All right. So yeah, and we're going to do the same thing tomorrow in the Bookmap Academy meeting. It's going to be at 4 p.m. So if you are curious about the Bookmap Academy, you've never been, you'd like to go, come tomorrow at 4 p.m. and East Coast time, and we'll go through our normal process where we give feedback on other people's content, coach their trading, and give them some feedback basically on what they were doing. That we open the mic and understand where they're coming from, why they traded a specific way, and how can we help them. Anyway, let's jump in here. We'll go over some coaching and mentoring, like I said, and then also some free tools that we want to go through. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in here, and I'm looking at the S&P E-mini here. I have it in the Bookmap bot remover, Trader Map Pro. We can also look at it here in the free version. I don't know if actually, yeah, here it is. The free version of the Trader Map Pro is Trader Map Lite. I would highly recommend that you guys use this. Here, let me show you the difference between this one and looking at the regular ES chart here. Okay, so this is the regular ES chart, and let's just zoom in a little bit closer here. Okay. All right, so see the trading bot in here. In fact, let me hide. Hold on just a second here. I'm going to hide the icebergs stops for just a minute. This is that bot in here, okay, on the offer, on the bid, and it really kind of messes the heat map up. So the Trader Map Lite version or Trader Map Pro will get rid of it. All right, so I hope you're using that. You can trade off of it as well. Here it is, and you can see you don't see that bot now, right? It's been taken out of the equation in here. We found a way to filter it out, so we can give you really good insight. Look at the offer up here. Pretty amazing. That's a pretty stacked book here on the offer. And Brandon, actually, we'll turn it over to him in just a little bit. You can see the stacked book up here at highs of the day around noon East Coast time as well. And there was a lot of liquidity up here. It was just above the pre-market high here, as you can see. And this was a fantastic entry point somewhere in here. Look for the momentum kind of shift and flow over, and then look for your down move. Anyway, we'll let Brandon go over that one. Let me know if there's any questions you guys have. Probably you've gotten connected and you're trading, no problem, but you may have some questions about trading, and maybe there's some shortcut keys that we can also go through up here under settings, and then keyboard shortcuts, and then under let's see, it's under instrument panel, or is it main menu here? The trading, let's see here. It is, yeah, here. So the instrument panel, limit buy at the ask, or a buy limit at the best bid. You can put in hotkeys for these. and trade to your heart's content. You know, just if you're interested in going through this process as well, or if you want to just trade from the chart, you can do that. It doesn't matter. Just wanted to show some of these other options. A lot of you may not have traded from Bookmap. You can trade from the Dome. If you have Global Plus, you can also trade from the Dome Pro product here. Let's see, actually it is not supported for this. Okay, that's this instrument, but it will be for this one, right? Okay, here we go. Yeah, maybe you want to trade off the Dome. Well, you can as well. We have a very high level professional Dome here, and you can trade off of this for the competition as well. All right, you will need to have Global Plus for that though. All right, so just so you know, lots of functionality, lots of flexibility here. And like I said, if any of you guys have any questions, Trader Pete or Steve, Steven or DNT or Rob, let us know, and we can go through whatever it is that you might be struggling with, or considerations. Like, you know, for example, today, I mean, today's been kind of all over the map. Well, you know, maybe, for example, trade lower size. Here, let me just show you an example. Right, so let's go over ES here. You know, just what if you just followed along with the high liquidity? It will just go back and take a look at this in here. You know, you'd be you know, buying on the way down in here, okay, in these levels here, and you wouldn't have gotten filled down here, but then you're just kind of waiting for price to kind of curl around at a specific level. Now look at your higher time frames, and then this is what larger players are doing. There's no question about it. They're getting filled here, 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 and all the way down, in fact. And then there's kind of a lack of aggressive selling at a certain point. This was the low of the day. We can look at our candlestick chart in here, and look at that low of the day in here. Let me see, that was down at what price level? 45. All right, so if we go back in here, and we look at this 45 level down in here, well, you know, look where we're hitting. You know, we're hitting into these areas down in here, on the hourly, and we're getting a reaction out of those levels in here. This is your higher time frame. This is what the order flow looks like in your higher time frame. Look at the shift above all of these limit buy orders here. Okay, so this could be you can consider it as a zone for trading, and then maybe you're getting in here, here on smaller size, maybe just 10 lots, 10 lots, 10 lots, 10 lots. You're averaging in your position, okay, and then you'd be scaling out 10 lots, 10 lots, maybe 10 lots, 10 lots. I mean, you know, all the way up to the high of the day. Anyway, you know, this is what larger players have to do. Maybe this is a consideration for your trading as well, or you might be trading completely differently. Maybe you're a momentum trader. A lot of you guys are, and you're you know, looking for small little pullbacks in some of these moves here. You know that there's high liquidity on the bid on the way down here, but so what? You know, if there's still more selling pressure, you're still in it. Maybe you're looking for a small pullback, and then getting involved again on the sell side. Small pullback, getting involved. As long as there's momentum in here and there's still more supply, it will trade down to the demand. Right now, of course, that's easier said than done. I'm not saying that this is easy, but if you go back and you look at your charts, this is how a lot of larger players have to get filled. These are some considerations for you as well. What's the purpose of this competition, Pablo? Let me answer that. All right, so there's a few different things to cover here. Number one is, well, first off, it's fun, and it's competitive. So jump in and compete. You'll become a better trader. Secondly, this is we dubbed it here trading scary size. So you can start to experience what it's like to trade size. Now, this is funny because, actually how this came about, this idea, was, and I'm sorry, I keep on putting Brandon off a little bit. Brandon, we'll get to you in just a second. And jump in anytime. But I'll turn the trade examples over to you in just a second. Yeah, Trader Pete foster, a dynamic community, etc. Well, let me just say this though, that so I had to start trading some pretty big size for some of the add-on products here with the Bookmap team, and try to break them. And we have these 24/7 accounts now, just like a demo account at a different brokerage, or things like this. You can see where this is all leading to. I mean, there's also possibilities for funded traders, etc., with these accounts. So we have to experience trading some size in there. Well, I started to note how this really helped my trading, understand the other side of the book. Who's taking these trades? How are they getting filled? And I started to have to implement some of those ideas into my trading, and it was really enlightening. It was like, wow, this is like, there's so many different ways to trade, and then to look through that lens, I found very helpful. And then we have now the capability for CME competition. So we decided, well, let's let them trade big size, and we'll have this event with Halloween and call it Trading Scary Size as a kind of a marketing pitch, as well as all these other things that you're mentioning in there, Trader Pete. Okay, right there with you. Good stuff. All right, so anyway, let's take a quick look at the leaderboard here. You can see, let me do a refresh here. Ice Gold here has traded 590 contracts and is up almost more than $500,000. So that's pretty good return, almost 5.5% basically. I'm sorry, 55% return in just like a day or so. And then these other guys just duking it out in here. Napman, Choda, Horizon, Respect, Freitas. There's a few others in here. Maybe Murray Man was doing well. A few others in here, but anyway, you can see the all the different players in here and how they're doing. So yeah, have fun with it. And let's see, we'll go over. Yeah, let's Brandon, jump in and let's go over what you were seeing earlier today.
Let's do it.
Do you want to share your screen, or do you want to just go over mine?
I'll share my screen. Hold on, I'm just getting something set up.
All right. Stop sharing here.
There we go. See my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. There's actually something I'm watching right now, but I will talk about what we saw earlier. Let me pull up ES. Just got delayed data on TradingView. But so what I saw earlier when I was going through and looking at Bookmap is we can see that we set this pre-market high right here. So typically I'll start looking after 3 o'clock, which is going to be our London Open, which is right here, right? So after 3 o'clock, we end up setting this pre-market high right here. As we saw in the morning, we had this big drop to the downside, and then pretty much just a straight push up. Right now, as we got up into that pre-market high, that's when we started to notice that we had a very large block of sell orders up here. So if you guys have joined in any of the previous webinars I've done, or even the one yesterday, you guys know that I really like to see, buyers or sellers when we're trading at a key level. So this to me, this pre-market high, that is a key level for me. So as we trade up into it, that's at 58.86. We can see that we have very large sellers from that 58.85 level, 58.86, all the way up into 58.90. That's exactly what I am looking for when we trade to a key level. So we push up into it. Maybe there's an elevation in volume. Let's see. Not so much a huge elevation in volume, but on the 15-minute, it actually looked even more bearish. We got like this little like doji, gravestone doji right here, right off the key level. Plus, we have that confluence of all these sellers up here. So if I were to look for a short entry, it would either be at the close of this 15-minute, or you can even snipe it off a smaller time frame, maybe a 5-minute, and then your stop loss would just be right above. Actually, in this case, because we have a lot of sellers here, I would have stopped out had we taken out all these sellers and broke above 58.90. So let's go ahead and put the short position on real quick. See risk or reward. So if you entered at the close of this 15-minute, again, your stop would have been like probably right around here. So you're risking 7 points. Now your profit could have potentially made, what is that? Almost 30 points. And we talked about yesterday on how to get a larger win. Pretty much just scale out of your position, get your stop loss to break even. So let's just say that you were aiming for, this previous low right here. Still, that was a 2.4 R trade. So you're risking $1 to make 2.4, essentially. Hit your first price target, put your stop loss to break even. At that point, you could have caught a larger move to the downside. But again, that's exactly what I would look for when we trade up or down into a key level, confluence with the buyers or sellers on Bookmap, key level, and then confirming price action. So that was from earlier, but something I would watch now is now we can see we have a very large sell block from 58.75 all the way up to 58.80. So if we pop up into that level, which is kind of far away, but if we do, I would potentially be looking for some shorts if we got confirming price action. And then we would simply stop out if we were to take out these sell orders. But yeah.
Nice. So I'm curious. So like, how would you play it? Like your green box there that you would that goes to the swing low. Um, would you be looking for that to break the previous low of the day, or at least test it down there?
Right here,
No, not that one.
all the way down here.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. At the close of this 15-minute, what I don't like is just a huge influx of volume right here. So there's a good chance that a majority of this volume actually came in down here. So I'd be a little cautious about that. But again, if your stop loss is at break even or even in profits at this point, you could just figure out, like, hold the position a little longer and see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, this is a little bit higher time frame, so
Yeah.
it's bouncing a little bit right now. But like you put your line in there at 58.69. It just kind of bounced up to that previous swing, and then it's kind of failed so far, and it's trying again, but it looks pretty good. I mean, I would, the momentum's to the downside here.
hmm
So
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I don't like too much is just that huge elevation of volume that came in right here, this general area.
yeah.
But if it were to be buyers and we were short, I mean, just logically thinking, they probably have stops right below here. So if it does take it out, there then is a very good chance that we'll come down and test this low
Yeah.
right there. But yeah, that's how I would have looked to play this today.
Yeah.
It was very good.
You are looking at some much higher time frame, kind of like truly day trading, just like kind of one or so positions, one or two, maybe three positions maximum.
Mhm.
But then you're looking for holding for the majority of the day.
Correct. And I mean, it could even be like, honestly, it just depends on how long it takes for the move to play out. And then just squeezing stops and, when do I actually get stopped out? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, again, we talked about this earlier. I was looking for this bounce on QQQ, so we could have watched NQ on Bookmap right there. My bounce was way down here, but say like price did come down into here. We ended up dropping into my demand zone. Started to notice that we got like huge buyers on Bookmap confirming price action. Absolutely, I would have looked to take that long. I mean, honestly, even with a move like this, I'd be happy with that. And that was only like 20 minutes. So, yeah, for me, it really depends on how long does it take for the move to play out. Could be 10, 20 minutes. It could be an hour, 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, how do you, since you're doing options, and let's suppose you are in, an option that expires today. It's, I guess, let's suppose it's in the money. Um, you're buying puts. Um, would you, with the theta, I mean, the time decay, like how do you usually manage something like that?
Um, it depends on what time of the day, because typically, like within the first hour, hour and a half, the theta isn't like too bad. But once we start getting past 11 New York time, that's when it gets not fun. That's when I'll just switch to the next day's expiration.
So you'll just roll it into the next day.
Not if I'm already in the position. If I'm already in it, then I'll hold it. But if I'm looking for a new position after 11, then I'll just go next day.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever done something like that? I mean, it's not any big shakes or anything, but I suppose you're in a contract or an options position, and then it's you're in the money, but the time decay is starting to ramp up a little bit. You're like, okay, I'm out, but I'm going to roll it into next days, and then try to hold it for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I haven't done that with day trades. I've done it with swings though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just curious how you're. I mean, it's just such a different game with the options.
I know it's crazy if you actually think about it. I remember when I first learned about futures, I was like, holy crap. Because there is no theta. It
It's
goes by points.
so much easier. So much easier.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, you can be right with your options play in the direction, but still lose money. In
Oh yeah.
fact,
That's happened so many times.
yeah, yeah, that's got to be frustrating. Anyway, um, yeah, nice stuff. Interesting too. I mean, like, when I don't know how you guys feel about this, trading size in here, um, but if how it makes you nervous or not. I mean, like Brandon was just going or covering, like, this is still on the downside here. If you were in from that high of day from the exactly what he covered, like, and then you can see, like, on the S&P, even more liquidity at a lower level. We never know, right? But look at that huge block right there. That's massive. And are buyers interested? Well, not yet. I don't see any interest. Since that liquidity's come in, it just looks like we've just been kind of doing nothing really, just kind of going
Yeah.
sideways.
Yeah, I don't see too much.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here if anyone has any questions on some of this stuff, or anyone have a trade that they want to cover, paste it into the chat here, and we can take a look at it and invite you to the stage if you want. This is what we do in the Bookmap Academy meeting, for example. We'll open it up here. Brandon will be here tomorrow as well with the other coaches. He'll be a guest coach, and go through the process. And the Bookmap Academy is all about you. We're just there to help out and guide the process. We want to hear from you. We open the mic. You walk us through the trade. What were you thinking? And then get some feedback on it. Right. So we can give it a shot here as well. Anyone who is interested in coming tomorrow, we'll have a link for you tomorrow as well. But yeah, it's we can kind of invite maybe some of the other students or Bookmap Academy members who are interested. Maybe if you guys want to come up on the stage here. Okay, well, just put a link in, and it's up to you.
Let's look at some trades.
Yeah, Pablo, I see your comment there about this is kind of a casino competition. Well, I mean, I kind of I disagree with you there. Uh, this is, I mean, trading size like that. Yeah, you can make a casino if you want, but why I'm covering this or saying it's not really like that is last week we had our Pro Trader webinar the entire week on institutional traders, how they trade and how they have to trade. This is something that is, you know, a different game, and you can kind of learn from them and play along. So yeah, let's see here. Questions. Ed, okay, so you had to bow out. I'm sorry. Yeah, crash your book map. Let's see here. Oh, on YouTube, I've never played options before. Yeah, I've traded a lot of options in the past, but not the zero DTE. That's a different game, and I was like, are you kidding me? I don't want to play that. But hey, if you have any questions, Brandon's here, and I've experienced it many times in the past where I had the direction right and I still lost money. Super frustrating with options. Anyway, guys, let's see if we, Brandon, what do you think? It looks pretty good here. It looks like we're going to break this level here. We've been waiting all afternoon. We have the momentum to the downside. The sellers are coming in. Looking pretty good here.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no buyers right now. Looks like the only area that we remotely have buyers, actually a larger area. Got a little bit right here, but I mean, this 58.40, just looking at overall price too. I mean, we do have this trend line, but I mean, if we crack it, there's a good chance.
Yeah, it's looking real good here. To crack that recent swing low there, at least test below it there.
Yeah.
So SPY, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that 58.40 looks pretty good.
So we also do have big earnings after hours. I think I want to say Meta and Microsoft, I believe.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna affect everything, and this election. Oh my God, who knows what's gonna happen here? And and I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I've been very risk off.
Yeah.
Till we get into next week.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking too. And we have non-farm on Friday, so market's getting prepared for that. All right, let's see. Any questions in here? Good point. Depends on how. Yeah, mentally. I don't know. I mean, like DNT, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's also really important to see some of the numbers when you trade size, and you start to understand, like, holy cow, like. I mean, what was it? We had Brad Gilbert, we had Marco, we had well, all of them last week that we're talking about looking at some of the size and how that really messed with their head. They weren't able to kind of overcome that once they started to trade it. So this allows you to put that into perspective. Yeah, okay, it's fun money, but like, when you see like, wow, holy crap, I'm down like 11 grand. Like I took a trade to demo just the other day, and I did just to demo the market buy and market sell and how I got slipped, and I was down 11 grand just like that. I think even more. I think I was up like 4 grand or something, and then then I was all of a sudden down 11 grand. So you won't be able to trade like that. Um, and to be able to see that size it would be really important. Another thing, Brandon, do you want to bring up the market pulse, or I can show it if you don't have it.
Yeah, I'll let you go over it.
Okay. All right. Let me grab the screen. And is there something else you want to go over? Because we're just testing that low right now.
I mean, we do have some smaller orders right here, but it's not like anything alarming that I would watch. Like there could be a possibility we bounce here.
Yeah, that
If I
80.
were to watch an area, it looks like here would be our best bet,
Yeah, yeah,
or all the way up here.
yeah,
But yeah, that's all I'm watching right now.
yeah. So it just traded in at 55 liquidity, and we're getting a little bit of a bounce there, but I agree that 53 looks really good. And then we got the figure down below at 50, so that looks like a pretty good area for price to test.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll give you the screen share. I'll let you show market pulse.
All right. Anything else you wanted to cover?
Not yet.
All right.
We'll see if something ends up happening
All right.
with this.
Screen. Go. All right, so we got like less than an hour left before the close. So this is going to get interesting here. Yeah, this is a good little level of liquidity right in here. And then this is so typical. Trade through it and then get some aggressors to covering on the other side here. We'll see. Maybe this is where this is kind of a key level for intraday here. So if we get some aggressors on the buy side after trading into a little bit of liquidity on the way down, we could come up and trade into this big block Brandon was pointing to earlier. Yeah, that's totally within the realm. I mean, look at as we cover like in the Bookmap education, sellers are in control from this move down. All the price action has been within this area here at this 70 level, 71 level or so. But there's a pretty big pocket of buying in here too, and you can see it here in the bars, also in the dots. And then it's just been back and forth until just recently now. These sellers coming in here, so we could see if we get enough buyers, come back and revisit up here and then break out up into this level or levels of high liquidity here. All right. All right. So no questions on trading functionality or anything like that. If not, then we'll bring up the Market Pulse tool. Actually, I'm going to show a Market Pulse tool with the NQ. I'm going to get the Trader Map Lite. Okay, so here we got the NQ, and this is a heck of a tool for the NQ. Is this we can bring up pace of tape imbalance as well as the volume pressure imbalance. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Okay, Pablo. Well, if you're not learning anything, then I don't know why you're here. So that's up to you. But I think there's a tremendous amount to learn here with trading some size. All right, so in fact, guys, I'm happy to demo anything in here if you want. Like for example, let's just go through this market pulse tool, and we'll do some quick back testing in here, and then also start to go through it. Hold on a minute here, as it's still loading a bunch of events here. There we go. Okay, there's VPI, and I want to look at it here. We'll just look at VP. We'll start with VPI. Maybe a lot of you have also traded the pace of tape and balance. Let me show you another thing here as well. We'll go over these two widgets here in just a second, but we will give you free access to this here, which you might find really interesting and useful. Hold on a minute. I got it up. Yeah, here we go. Okay, it's just loading. Yeah, just wait until it loads here. All right, let's go over the volume, pressure, imbalance, and pace of tape. Might be better for now. Yeah, Rob, I would imagine this would help you with your trading. Also, D&T Matter quite a bit. I know D&T, you've been layering into trades, over time. Looking at, like I said, there's so many different ways to start to look at this and start to understand it. For example, look at this huge spike to the upside, and look at your market pulse, VPI, volume, pressure, imbalance. Okay. Now look at where it traded into, and look at the level up here. Okay. Now you didn't get much out of it as a fade because the aggressor, we see this kind of turning around here of all of these trades here on the bid getting filled on the way down, right? All the way down. And then this is exactly what we're talking about here. Here's your break of your trend line, and look at the aggressors coming in. Okay, so here, right in here, basically is you see volume transition from sell side to buy side. Okay, now buyers are in control in this whole level in here. Okay, so we can even see this come up higher, into maybe just in this time frame. Yeah, something like this looks pretty good to me, up into this 605 area or so. I'm still looking for it. I'm still looking for buyers to try to trade higher here. Okay, we'll see. It's starting to exhaust out a little bit here. Right, but the buyers are in control now. Why I mentioned this? If you could try this. For example, Rob, place some small orders on the way down here. I mean, you got plenty of liquidity, right? So put in 5 or 10 lots on the way down, or 2 or whatever, and you'll get a feel for this, and then you'll start to understand, like when you get this flip in the aggressor here, and this is what makes up the market. This is how a lot of these larger players, they're getting filled on the way down. And they kind of kick it off sometimes with some size with the aggression here, get other people on board to start moving it the other way, and knock a lot of people out and stops and everything on the way back up. So now if you are this can be tricky, trading it this way on the way down. And Brandon, please jump in any time here. How you might look at this, like to scale in, or I know you're looking at your higher time frame levels, but any insights, any comments you have, please just jump in. So if you trade this way, you're being kind of like an institution, okay, and then you're just letting it kind of float back up. And then maybe scaling out on the way back up too with limit orders. So maybe you're scaling out like this on the way back up, right? Okay, and you can see even if you got in up here, you'd be way in the money. You'd be in the money someplace around in here, which is curious enough. Look at that pivot point right there, right at this 81 level. Okay, so you could be in profit all the way back up and through here. Okay, so that's one way to take a look at it, Rob. For example, in D&T Matter, I know that you were looking into something like this, but remember though, you're looking for taking this down to some of these key levels and getting involved into the trade on the way down. It can be really dangerous, but that's what the competition can be good for here. And then, or there's another way to play this here as an aggressor. You know, you're looking for these little small pullbacks. Now we gave you $1 million, so you could look for these small pullbacks in here, like here into high liquidity, and then with, you know, it's chopping around, and then like looking through here. Now I don't see much, and then here we see the aggressive sellers starting to come in and move price lower. Okay, so you'd be going along with the momentum and looking for trading through these areas down to the key level. Okay, so the key level, like Brandon was going through, would be you know, some of these swings in here. So like this swing right here on the ES. Okay, we just spiked below it. Here's our reaction. We're seeing buyers come in just below that spike. So we did not come back down to this 44 level here. We still may. Right, we're just seeing the initial kind of bounce off of this key intraday level here at this 55 area. It spiked below it, and buyers coming right back in. Okay, but now look at how it's behaving in here. Let me add a little bit more here. Okay, so maybe you can see it a little bit better. I just need less. Let's just do less bars. Okay. All right. So, and now this is not looking good for the bulls here. Right? I mean, just by the candlesticks alone, this is not looking good. Look, you can't even, on this move back up, we don't even see price come back up into these swings here. Okay. So now I'm looking even more now. Now we'll look at Bookmap, but I'm even looking more for a retest back down to here. Okay. This is it. This is as far as we got. It's not looking good for the buyers. All right, so let's take a look here. Now I'm looking at the NASDAQ compared to the, instead of the S&P on that candlestick. Okay. All right, so we're an aggressor. All right, so then let's put on a position in here. I don't know, it should be 10, 20. Let's put on 10. And we're just kind of missing it. I'll look for a pullback here after trading into this liquidity here. Okay, and let me add a little bit of a structure in here. Okay. All right, so I'm in 10 there, short on NASDAQ. And then I'm playing this as an aggressor now. Okay, so I'm looking for momentum here down into 70 or 55 here. And now the structure is breaking. Great timing, Bruce. But let's see here. At least the trend line structure is breaking. Okay, now we need to see if this swing here breaks. This is kind of the key level here, around this 580 level here. Yeah. Okay. So we're getting a test up there. All right, and if that's the case, then I'm gonna exit it. This is not what I was looking for. I'm looking for this to hold and looking for momentum here. Right? Yeah, we're gonna have to just get out of this here. All right. All right, so that didn't work out too well. But anyway, the process though is the same here. Okay, so if we're playing it from the aggressor side, now I'm getting in at a pretty bad level. In fact, this is where the buyers came in as we had marked up here. But I was still looking for maybe just down to here, 69, 70, maybe lower. Okay. Did Scott add to his scale in and scale out? Scott did all sorts of stuff. You might want to go back and watch that webinar DNT. I mean, he would be setting his order like up here, and it would be like well, let's just put in how much liquidity I have actually. He'd be setting. That's not enough. And put in 120, right? Yeah. Okay. So he'd put his like 1,000 lot up here or something like that, and then and one of the tricks that he's discussed, and then now he's down here trying to kind of get these guys to buy. So maybe it traded into some high liquidity, and now he's starting to be aggressive here, trying to get those other traders to jump on board, and he'll be a larger player in here, like these big green dots in here. Okay, and that's what he's trying to get them to buy, and then bring it back up to his level up here. They did it all day long. Okay, you can still see those games played in the dome. It's just it's very different now. The speed, okay, and the algos, but the supply and demand remains the same. All right, let's see if we get our move now. Okay, so this is our key level here, and we're seeing our sellers come in. Just not quick enough. Okay, so this is our key level, right? So we kind of identified it back here earlier. This one too. Okay, so it's starting to bounce off of this level here. Okay, but we're seeing our sellers. Okay, all right, so looking for our sellers again. Ooh, I put in 120. Yikes. Okay, that was a an error. Well, let's see. We might get lucky here. Yeah, we're getting lucky. Okay, just looking for the swing down here. And I'm going to chase it. Oh, just horrible fills. Just horrible fills. Yeah, this is exactly what you want to avoid again. But anyway, what I should have done was used what I had showed you guys earlier. Use your sell here. I'm sorry, your buy limit on the best ask and your sell limit on the best bid. Okay, so here, if we do another sell in here, okay, so I'll hit sell. Okay, there's my 120. Okay, but actually I have to go over this with Maxime. Here's my 120. Okay, but my average sell is up here. Okay, so this is kind of messed up. So now I need to buy it back though, right? So I want to buy back on the best ask. Yeah. Anyway, you can see the slippage in here, guys, and is pretty bad. And you can see the P&L, like, I just jumped up 20% from what I had earlier just by trading 120 lots per click. Hey Brandon, what kind of size, like, I'm not asking what size you trade, but like as you started to kind of scale up in your trading, how'd you do that? Starting with a small account, or started to get some performance, and then you start to ease up or add more size into it.
Yeah, so I just personally slowly started adding like one or two contracts over time. And then as I was more and more consistent with it, I would just do the same thing, one or two, and then just yeah, slowly over time building that size.
Okay. So
So
it took, I mean, you'd take your profits and just parlay it right back into the account.
So I'll keep my account, let's just say 100K, right? Whatever's in my account, that's what I'm comfortable with losing. So if I'm comfortable with losing 100K, everything over 100K, I'll pull out. And then again, as I become comfortable with my size, maybe I'll grow it to like 105,000. Everything over 105,000, I'll pull out and pay myself. And then again, slowly over time, the account will grow, and then I'll just keep pulling out the excess.
Right. Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we had a great approach. I'm sorry, academy meeting last week, and one of the new traders in the he was in here yesterday. Had a great way of dealing with his trading like a business, basically. So, he would get up to a comfortable level, and he would God, how exactly did he do it? It was very, very simple and very straightforward. A paycheck for himself. Like, he would get to a certain level and he's like, okay, that's where I'm willing to pay myself. Now everything else on top of that is gravy. And he said that really helped him because he started to be much more comfortable. He knew that he was going to get a paycheck for the week, and whatever else he's doing at that time, he's adding in to his account to um, have more leverage in the future. So,
Mhm.
yeah, another one is a Bookmap Academy coach, David Blake he trades London. He's over in London or in the UK. He would trade the London session and make some money, and then that would allow him to now play with that money, and it's like he can be aggressive with it. So it takes the pressure off, so that at that point it's just play money. It's like, okay, I'm gonna, I'll throw that, let's say he made 2 grand in the morning. He's got that to play with, and he'll be calm and then look for quality trades. And he knows if he loses 2 grand, so what? He he didn't lose anything for the entire day. So he's
Yeah, I
just
know a
a
lot of traders that do the same thing, except like they'll start with a $5,000 account, make 5,000, pull out the initial 5,000, and then obviously just be very aggressive with the rest.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different ways to go about it.
Yeah, exactly. So, uh, yeah, and any other kind of insights like that, Brandon, on from what you've seen, or just account management principles?
I mean, the biggest thing is just paying yourself because I mean, I've seen a lot of people like everybody wants to get a six-figure account. Um, but what I've noticed is people just like they'll aggressively try to grow the account and then they'll just start adding more and more size because they want to hit that certain number. But most of the time they end up blowing it. So again, biggest suggestion, find a number you're comfortable with, and everything over that, just pull it out. Because last thing you want to do is grow like a 10K account to like 40K, not take any money out, and then just blow it.
Yeah,
Because I've seen it so many times throughout my last 7 years trading.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you um, basically you want to hold on to your initial uh, account balance. Everything else on top of that is basically like the gravy.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Always pay yourself and then invest it into like long term investments.
right. Yeah,
Another thing I always tell people take short term gains, turn it into long term gains.
yeah. That's a great way to go about it too. So, I know David, I think, does that as well. It's like he takes his money from his short-term gains, and now he's got some money he can throw at on the longer term.
Right.
Yeah, and then from there, like like Brandon. I mean, now you're day trading with your options, but my God, I mean the world's your oyster basically at that point for the longer term options plays. Sell covered calls. You can make vertical spreads. you can do whatever you want basically, and with leverage, but with risk in check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, guys. So kind of funny. So no one, no trades to go over. No one wants to. Any other questions? Now tomorrow we'll go through the competition trades in the Bookmap Academy meeting. But if there's no questions or any kind of anyone wants to jump up on stage here with a question, or how has this been? Just trying to gauge your guys' feedback. To be honest, like $1 million is not much. It depends on what you're trading. If you're trading the S&P, it's not, you're not going to really see that big of a difference. But that's why I've been trading the NASDAQ a lot, is try to demo that, or the Russell. It's going to make a big difference. No? All right. All right, guys. Well, anyway, we just wanted to make this, an hour-long webinar, tips and tricks. How's it going? Check in, support you guys. Any questions you have, you had any issues getting connected, any questions about trading, it's not working for you, or how to consider trading if you're just getting annihilated in here, all in, all out type of trades in here. Well, you've got so much liquidity now. You should be able to, you can do all sorts of things. You can layer into these trades, or scale into these trades over time, just like the larger players, like we had shown in here a few different ways. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Brandon, any words of wisdom, and we'll close it out.
Biggest thing that we already talked about: pay yourself for the market.
Okay. All right. We got a question from Crash on the pace of tape. Yeah, absolutely. We can go over that and spend a few minutes on that. We brought that up on purpose, and then for some reason that I wanted to show this beta market pulse. I showed it yesterday. Oh, okay. Now it's working. Now it's working. Okay. Great. Let me show you this. Crash, you're probably going to like this a lot. You should have free access to this already. And if you guys don't, then email us at beta@bookmap.com. So check this out. We have a new heat map in here. It's like it's under, as you can see, it's the Mag 7 stocks. This is pretty interesting stuff. This is a new product. And you can see the Mag 7 stocks here under VPI. So which ones are doing well in here? Well, only Microsoft is green in here. Now this one's price change. Okay, so I have an algo here for 7 displayed in a different way here. You guys have free access to this, so just email us that you want access to this, and we'll give it to you. All right, you should have access to all of the other market pulse. As you can see, I have for stocks in here. I've got all sorts of stuff up here. I've got the US 100, or the NASDAQ 100 up here as well, and I've got pace of tape as well as volume pressure. I mean, this is a great tool, and it's all on the web. So you can just have this browser open, and or if you like the little widgets in here. I know, Crash, the way that you like to use this, look at the at least this is the way I like to use it, is looking at if it's volume pressure. Let's actually put pace of tape down here. Looking for the gamma to be changing in the volume and transactions. Okay, it's not pressure, it's the flow through, basically. So if we open up a time and sales in here, we're looking at this flow coming through: buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. It's not based on volume, it's based on the amount of transactions coming through. God, it's just a pity. I wanted to go short on that, and let's take a look at our higher level. How are we doing here? All right, so this is what we were looking for, right? Our buyers could not take this higher. It's not looking good. Okay, now here come the sellers again. We should see a flush through, in fact, probably down to this 20, 50 area here. I'm sorry, 20 20,550. Okay, so here let's put on a 20 lot. Okay, and let's take our profit down there. Okay, just looking for the push into it. Let's look at our pace of tape in here. Okay, so how's our pace of tape looking? Well, this is where we saw the red color in here. The bright red color in here is where it went over 70%. Okay, so and look at the buys in here. They can only muster this much pace of tape from the buy side. It might change. We might see a big flush through here on the buy side, but right now it's still sell side in control here. And there we go. So we just hit our target. All right. So anyway, crash is very similar to what we were just talking about with a VPI. Okay, so it really is like there's an added advantage in here using the pace of tape compared to time and sales. Now, a lot of people like to look at time and sales, and they'll look at their minimum size as, I don't know, with the NASDAQ, we can look at maybe a 5 lot, right? And that's going to slow things down a lot. But 5 lot or bigger going through. Okay, so maybe we have to go down to a 2 or 3. But you know, they want to see action here, especially you stock traders. You want to see action. You really want to see this picking up in here. Okay, so once you start to see it pick up and you see what side is coming through in your pace of tape here, then that's your edge. All right. Okay, so now we're seeing the transition starting to take place here. Oh, what I was going to mention in here, why is this an edge over your time and sales? Here's why. Because it's doing something you can't get from your time and sales. It's going through in the settings in here an inputted amount here of 5 minutes, for example. Okay, you're not going to be able to see that. You're going to only see like a minute or two, maybe, and you'd have to put that together and understand like, okay, I see more red than I do green. Well, this one does all of that automatically in this little widget. Okay, and you will not be able to see that in here because of the way this is set up with the time. All right. All right. So yeah, in fact, Crash, this is something totally for you. Looking at the pace of tape and volume pressure. So looking for your volume pressure to really pick up. And here we can even add in the volume pressure here, and you can kind of see how it's very similar to it, right? These two here are going to give a lot of insight in here. You know, so first you want to see how much volume's coming through, and then you want to see the flow. Okay, so this is like your gamma, basically. This is your delta. In your transactions, this is looking at the speed of those transactions. So you start to see that pressure pick up, and then that you see the pace of tape pick up as well. Here's where your capitulation right here. Okay, here's your squeeze now to the upside here. All right, so yeah, lots of different ways to look at this. Brandon, I know you've been looking at it recently. Have you been? You have any insights that you want to share?
Say that again. Sorry.
Any insights you want to share on? I know you've been looking at the pace of tape recently.
I mean, mainly I've been watching it again when we hit those key levels to see like are there aggressive buyers or sellers coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got to play around with it more, just like from a intraday perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will say I do like it.
Yeah, I do too, a lot. In fact, I've seen this pace of tape like for a flag pattern, for example, or something, or right in here, for example. So here is our trend line break, right? For take a look at this. Now this is all lower time frame stuff, but I still, you know, think it's valid on all time frames. Here, we see the capitulation and the sell-off, and you see your pace of tape and your volume pressure imbalance down way down here. Okay, now we see that it pulls away from that, and here's your little swing right here, and we get this little back and forth in here. Okay, a lot of times you'll see that pace of tape really pick up in here, and there's a lot of flurry, a lot of activity going, but you don't see the price action movement yet. There's just a lot of activity in the time and sales, and it's just kind of going back and forth in here. Okay, and then you're looking for the follow through after that. Okay? These little areas in here are golden, you know, and this is where the buyers came in. So, you know, in fact, buyers are now back in control, back up to this swing here. Okay, trying to take control above it now, as you can see. Okay, so let's take a look at our higher time frame. We'll leave it at that. Look where we went. Okay, so this is what we were looking for earlier, because the buyers couldn't muster coming back up into the swings in here. We saw originally some buyers on this wick after the first test, and this is all they could do. So we get the next, we're looking for the next test into that area here. Okay, so now I don't really know. I know that we've traded here. I want to see if we see more buyers coming in. We are right now. All right, so if they do come in, where are we looking for them to take it? Probably back up into this, in the S&P, something like this 63, 64 level, maybe even higher, maybe some of these wicks. Okay, because we're seeing wick, wick, and wick. Now it's making lower lows, but we might see a really big influx of buyers in here. If we do, then I'm looking for it to trade up into these levels here. Okay, and then you start looking at Bookmap, and it's like, okay, where are those levels? Right, and we're looking at the NASDAQ, so we need to look over at the S&P here. Okay, well, that would be the 65 up here, and then maybe the 70 level up here. Okay, and then up in 76, 77, that's what Brandon was looking at earlier. All right, guys, that's everything I got. Brandon, let you have the final word here.
I don't know. Trade safe, trade smart. Use risk management.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Okay, there you have it. Good luck, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow and go through any more of your questions. Academy members, mark up your charts for the from the competition here, and we'll go through it tomorrow. Okay, we want to go over exclusively content from the competition if possible. What did you learn? How did you trade differently, etc. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll catch up with you tomorrow at 4 p.m. East Coast time. Bye-bye.
See ya.